Daniel Jones, Giants quarterback, a rookie last year, led the league in fumbles. You want to lead the league in good things, not bad things. Fumbles, newsflash, not a good thing. Interceptions tied for 11th with 12. He spoke with reporters in virtual fashion on Wednesday, and he spoke about his efforts to improve ball security in 2020. Here he is.
I think the biggest thing is ball security and particularly in the pocket, protecting the ball. I think that's a fundamental skill at the quarterback position. That's something that's crucial, but also to me a fairly simple fix in that it's a mindfulness, a certain being intentional to securing the ball, to having two hands on it, to when you're moving, when you're having to adjust in the pocket, you're maintaining that security. So I'm just trying to emphasize that, doing different drills, and making sure that I'm always cognizant of that and being very intentional in that.
Chris, anytime I think of a Giant and ball security, I think of Tiki Barber when Tom Coughlin taught him how to hold the ball high and tight and how it cured his chronic fumbling issues. Obviously, that's not something a quarterback can do. It's hard to throw the ball quickly if you're cradling the ball like Tiki Barber used to. Yeah, but what can you do? Look, it's the disconnect between all the stuff that a guy can say. You're out there in the fray. You're being chased around by very large men with hostile intentions. It's not like you can say, I got to remember to protect the ball. It's chaos at that point. What can you really do to improve your ball security in the pocket to avoid fumbling it when you get hit by one of these guys who is larger and stronger and faster than you?
Well, hey, first, the game will slow down for Daniel Jones, right? We hear that phrase all the time. And what I mean by that is, Daniel Jones, first off, the fumbling, and we talked about this the other day a little bit. It's not a good thing, don't get me wrong, but it's not something I look at and go, oh man, Daniel Jones has a problem and I'm worried he'll never be able to fix this. No, look at some of these plays. Really, when you look at a lot of his fumbles, you're going to go, man, he's just so fearless in the pocket and he just stands in there. Look at him, people around him, and he just doesn't care, to where he'll have a better feel for the offense and the speed of the game and the clock in his head in year two. Now, as far as the drills are concerned, Mike, there's definitely things you can do. And you're right, it's hard to emulate, 6'6", 320-pound guys trying to rip your head off. But, the thing you do, hey, there's drop back, shuffle through cones, make sure you got two hands on the ball. Drop back, move around the pocket, and you'd like to have somebody there, other quarterbacks, quarterback coach, have the little blocking dummies, and you hit at the quarterback's wrist and arms as he's sitting in the pocket and going through reads, just so he's always feeling it and maybe moving it and dipping it a little bit just to keep it out of the way of hands reach. Now, that's hard to do in practice right now. And I don't know if Daniel Jones, I don't think he's married. If he's got a girlfriend at home, that might be something I would ask her to do. Listen, I asked my wife to do that type of stuff all the time, especially when I was recovering from my splenectomy. So, but there is things you could do. And of course, talking about it and showing old footage of it and all of those things are also a big part of the learning process.
Yeah, and I also think that it's just part of the overall understanding of how you and your body, your arms, the football, how all of that fits with what's going on around you. And it's just
Definitely.
a simple, I think, acceleration of the clock. Like when we see Chandler Jones hit Daniel Jones as he's trying to get rid of the football, well, you got to make your decision a little faster. You have to anticipate the pocket collapsing around you, so you got to get rid of the ball before you're in your motion. I mean, it's hard to fault a guy for having bad ball security when he's in his throwing motion and his arm gets hit, because the ball's as exposed as it's ever going to be. You just got to get rid of it faster. You have to anticipate that, and you got to make your decision, and you have to move it faster. And as you say, when the game slows down, it's going to be easier for him to realize when that clock expires. It doesn't expire when they cave in the side of your knee and tear your ACL. It expires when they're close enough to hit your arm and knock the ball out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And again, you don't want to be the Statue of Liberty in the pocket either. And that's one thing, because Daniel Jones is so smart and he's such an accurate thrower of the football. I mean, he really is. I mean, he is pinpoint. He can throw lasers with perfect spirals. He wants to rely on that strength of his game, and I understand that. But he's a very good athlete too, and he is capable. We saw him last year ripping off 20 and 25-yard type runs to where, hey, use that to your advantage too. And there's a skill set. Mike, once you learn to play position in football a little bit, as great as Tom Brady is in the pocket, he's got a great way of being able to, one, still look down the field like an Aaron Rodgers, but yet still feel the pass rush. And that's part of slowing the game down too. You're sitting in the pocket and you're looking down, but every now and then you just kind of give a quick peek around to, wait, am I okay? Is somebody going to hit me, make me fumble? Okay, let me get my eyes back up. The really good ones can kind of see both at the same time. And I think Daniel Jones is going to have those capabilities. But I like the fact that he was so tough in the pocket last year. I think it's a positive. I really do. He's not a guy that's seeing ghosts or scared or anything like that. I think this is a fixable problem.
Well, and it's a problem that definitely needs to be fixed, Chris. To put it in perspective, 18 fumbles by Daniel Jones was the most for a season by a quarterback since 2002. My guess is it probably was Dante Culpepper, who was a notorious fumbler because even though he was a giant, his hands were tiny. But Jones had his 18 fumbles in 12 games, not 16 games. That's 1.5 fumbles per game, and 11 of the 12 fumbles were lost. You're not going to win many games if your quarterback is turning the ball over 1.5 times per game just by putting it on the ground, Chris.
No, you're not. But, let's not forget that offensive line was nothing to write home about, right? It was some new receivers out there, and Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard was hurt a little bit. Darius Slayton might have been the best receiver they had on the team last year. You had no running game to rely on. They put a lot on Daniel Jones's shoulders in the 12 games he had to play last year. I think I made fun of it the other day. I mean, as a rookie, from his first start down in Tampa, they were basically like, hey, Daniel, we can't run the ball that great. We can't pass protect that great. We're going to need you to throw the ball 40 times and throw 3 touchdowns to win a football game. And that's a lot to ask of a rookie. But he had some moments last year where, you'd be crazy not to sit there and go, man, this guy's got something special about him. And I think he's a big reason why, Josh McDaniels wanted the Giants job. And there was other bunch of coaches that were, clamoring to get it because I think they saw the potential in Daniel Jones.
By the way, Pete Demolitis informs me that Culpepper had 23 fumbles in 2002,
Wow.
and David Carr, then a rookie with the Houston Texans, had 21, but they presumably played more than 12 games that year.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.